What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Marvel Rivals, and today I bring back a long-awaited next episode of Why No One Takes Gaming Journalists Serious. And it's been a little while since I've done one. I wanted to do one at the end of last year, but I kind of passed on it. But this time I can't because this article is just so bad and pretty damn hysterical when you really hear how just hilariously bad it is. And the author is once again no stranger to this series because they have definitely been a MVP for this series. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but once again, it's the gamer, aka I like to call him the anti-gamer or the complainer, because I don't have any idea what it is they are complaining about, crying about now. But apparently, Marvel Rivals has a huge problem. Before getting to problems, just acknowledge that Marvel Rivals has been a huge success. A lot of people, since it launched a little over a month ago, have logged on to play it and has a very concurrent player base. And we're going to get some brand new content soon. They're revealing, I think, Fantastic Four with Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. I think they're going to have the other two members of Fantastic Four later on. They're going to show up a map. But, you know, new content, new heroes to play. What's there not to like? Well, unfortunately, that's the problem here, because the person writing this article just doesn't like fun things, apparently, because this is not the first time they've written an article where I just look at them and just think, you just like taking the fun out of things. You not like to have fun in life. But anyway, so what are they saying? Basically, their whole problem is that we don't need more heroes in Marvel Rivals because it already has way too many heroes. But before I get into the reasons why that's just ridiculous, I want to also touch on the fact that they also talk about that this game has lots of fundamental flaws, like not having a role queue. Now, here's the thing. You're going to hear me compare a lot of things to Overwatch, obviously, but when I played Overwatch, I played it when it first came out, the first few years. By the time I got out of it, that was well before it ever put a role queue, so I didn't know exactly like the whole experience of being in a role queue itself. But the thing here is that while it sounds good on paper, and they basically say, you know, it needs a role queue because it's impossible to play teams without people, you know, having dedicated roles. The problem with a role queue is it basically fundamentally does the one thing all gamers hate: being told how to play their game. And nobody wants to be told how to play their game. It's like saying which characters you can play, how you can play the characters. No, people want to play the way they want to do. That's half the fun of Marvel Rivals, is the fact that it is chaotic. It's all over the place. You can have so many different team comps. Yeah, are there bad teams you play on? 100%, absolutely. I mean, why would I play the game if I didn't expect to be on bad teams? I mean, there's going to be bad teams all over the place. But you're also going to play on some good teams as well. It, you know, goes both ways. But my point is that you tell people how to play, which characters to play as, is never going to be a good thing. Also, you know, me doing a little bit of research, is that the role queues also make the waiting to get into a game, a match, a lot longer. And trust me, nothing's more frustrating than sitting there with a long wait time just to play a game. And Marvel Rivals has a pretty solid, I mean, honestly, it doesn't take too long to get into a game, but this is what I've heard from people who played Overwatch 2 or 1 or whatever with the role queues. You know, long loading times and being told how to play. Yeah, that's probably going to piss off a lot of people. But I wanted to mention that because that's what this author wanted to talk about. It has a fundamental flaw. But basically, the main point of this article is that there's just too much content. There's too many heroes to play with, and that they didn't, I guess, space out the heroes. There's just too many things. Because their whole problem is that I can't master all these characters because it's a daunting task to try to learn any of them because there's so many of them. Guys, I'm going to let you in a little secret. I played Overwatch when it first came out. They mentioned that it had 21 characters when it first launched, or whatever, man, but around 20. I think I may have got comfortable with maybe 10 in my entire year's time playing Overwatch. My point being is, it's not like I learned, and even less, you want to talk about mastering a character in terms of you know the ins and outs of them, but, like, yeah, we're complaining because there's too many characters to learn. So what, you want less characters to learn so that it becomes really predictable? Because if there are less characters, that means all the lobbies are going to basically be the same thing. You're going to have the same characters dominate. And I get that maybe in a competitive mode it's a bit different, but just in terms of people just playing for fun, they make it seem like it's such a chore because there's so many characters, and that they talk about how this ruins a whole power fantasy scale, which people may just only want to play a game to look cool for the aesthetic, but you know, because there's so many characters, they don't They don't understand the whole daunting task of working with a team. It's like, buddy, gamers are going to do whatever the hell they want to do. They just want to play a game, load up in a few games, have a little bit of fun, and move on. All right? You're acting like, oh my God, it's such a chore because there's just so many characters, so many ins and outs and stuff. Because if it launched with, 10 or 15 characters, you'd probably be writing the opposite article and saying, oh, there needs to be more. Not to mention, this is a free-to-play game. Obviously, it's got to have a lot of updates to keep up with the whole demand because people love this game, supply and demand. They want to see more content, obviously. Who wouldn't want to see more content? I mean, do you not want them to release any content? I mean, do you want them to just not release any heroes and just sit at 33 for the whole year? Maybe your reading comprehension is not that great, but this game has been a huge success. And I know you're that type of individual that'll probably just wait till it has maybe an off time and then you'll come back later on and be like, hey, see, I told you so, because, that's how petty you are. But then again, what else do I expect from these journalists? They complain about things that no one is complaining about. Yes, we're so, frustrated and overwhelmed because, oh my God, they're adding more characters. I like having a lot of characters. I like having different comps, seeing different things interact and stuff, having different combinations. I don't want to get to a point where I'm just like, I already know everything within a month or two time. There's so many things I've yet to try. And, and also take it from me, like, imagine if the person playing Marvel Rivals is someone that's played the holy hell out of it. Do you think they've mastered all 33 characters? No. That's going to take a long time to even get to that point, and that's a very small percentage. There's so many, variables here. There's so many things you could do, and you keep acting like it's a chore to do when it's really not. People just want to play a game with a license that they love and play their favorite characters. But here's another part they point out, and this is just more idiocy, where they're basically saying how pretty much because it's the Marvel Universe, they have so many characters, but because the characters that are really popular are already in the game, that means there's nobody else they could possibly do because all the big hitters are already there. And I'm just looking at them like, dog, it's the Marvel Universe, okay? There are so many characters they could add in this game that could be an impact and stuff. I mean, for goodness sakes. Are you implying they're going to run out? That they've already done their big ones? Like, come on now. What is there, only 50 people in the Marvel Universe? No, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands. There's so many characters. Like, what is this statement? It's like you're just trying to find whatever excuse you can to just say why having more content is a bad thing. And no matter what it is, they're going to be adding maps. They're going to be adding more things, have some, events, costumes. Everyone seems to be enjoying it, have a good time. I know I am, but oh my God, too much content, because good Lord. And they were talking about how, like, in the beta, they were trying to master everyone and they couldn't, so now it's just daunting to play. Who the hell was going to master everybody in a beta? They didn't master all the characters in Overwatch, which was less when it launched back in the day. They weren't going to master all these characters in like a week's time of playing, however long the beta was. Like, what is this ridiculous argument? Just shut the hell up, play the game, have some fun, and stop complaining about it. It's not even a problem. I mean, this is a free-to-play game. It's got to have a lot of updates to sustain itself. Oh my God, we have too many updates. We have too much content. We have too many characters. Like, come on now. Like, how stupid and ridiculous can you possibly be? We're complaining about too much content. We're complaining about too many characters to play. Like, oh my God. Can we actually have a complaint that's valid? Something that actually makes sense? Like maybe the game isn't good or a mechanic, but no, we're complaining about things that fundamentally nobody is complaining about. That makes a lot of sense. As I said, a gem of an article. And I'll leave a link down in the description if you do want to read this article, because one thing that I found funny is that there were so many comments roasting this article and this person. And what makes it even crazier is the fact that there was even a few people basically saying that like their comments were getting deleted, and there was even a bot that was trying to defend them, because apparently they're the same bot that's appeared in other articles saying that this article is great and stuff. So yeah, it's bad, but you can give it a read, just have some fun with itself. But yeah, it's just terrible. I mean, it's just a terrible, but I guess funny if you look at it, terribly written but hilarious article at the same time, just from gaming journalists who are so disconnected from actual gamers and what actual gamers want, but unfortunately have this pedestal to keep posting all this, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, we're going to get more content. That's a good thing. We're going to get more heroes. That's a good thing. I don't see how that's ever a bad thing. But as I like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think adding more heroes is a bad thing and having more content is a bad thing? And that basically, because there's so many characters, it's just a daunting task because, you know, it's not like you just play who you want and just, you know, swap off whenever you want. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.